Hi, this is Mahesh Ravi, and in this video, we're going to take a look at a very interesting way to prototype your designs. So usually, you will be using Figma to design your design and prototype in there, which is a very easy workflow. I'm going to introduce you to a new tool. If you haven't heard about it, it's called Protopie, and it's a really interesting tool to make your designs come alive. It has a lot more features in prototyping than Figma. It's very easy to use, and you can create a lot of micro interactions in there as well. So let me just walk you through it. It's going to be a very simple walkthrough. So I'm in Figma right now, and we have a design open right here. So I'm going to go and open that design. We have the design created. So it's a streaming platform design, and I have made the design right here. So you can just go in and you can see that there are a couple of screens. There is a splash screen, there is a login screen, and there is the home screen and a feature film screen, which is created. So what we can do here is, instead of doing the prototype in Figma, we can export this to Protopie and do an advanced prototyping in Protopie. So let's take a look at how to do that. So the first thing that you have to do is go to your plugins and go to find more plugins and install Protopie. So search for Protopie and install that plugin right here. I've already installed it, so it is going to show up right here like this. Now, for this plugin to work, you need to actually install the desktop version of Protopie Studio. So go to Protopie Studio. You can download the studio. Click here to download the Protopie Studio for whatever device that you have. Once it's downloaded and installed, you have to open the Protopie app. So launch it. So if you haven't launched the Protopie app, the plugin in Figma is not going to work. So keep this window open. You can go back to Figma. You can select the screens that you want to export. So for this particular exercise, I'm going to just take one screen. So I'm going to select this artboard right here. You can also export multiple artboards like this. I'm going to export only this artboard here. So I'm going to select this and I will go to File, click on Plugins, click Protopie, and it will ask you export us one scene to Protopie. So since it's selected and the Protopie is open, this will be active. You can click on export and it will start exporting this screen into Protopie and it will automatically open in Protopie. So we are now in Protopie and our design is loading here. So now what you're seeing right now is the interface of Protopie, and you have your screen, the login screen opened up right here. On your left side, you can see all the layers that we have created. You can see your workspace, you can see the interaction space here, and you can see the options of what we have selected here in this window. On the top, you have the import icon. You can actually import videos, audio, Lottie files, and more stuff in here. You have the shapes options, you have the text option, and you have a container option right here. You can also convert things quickly into component by clicking on this button so that we can reuse that here. But currently we have this in space. So this is our workspace. And when you select an object, the options for that will populate right here. So you can make it editable. You can edit all these stuff here. So let's not do that. So you can change the position, you have the constraints, you have the opacity options. You can do a lot of design modifications right here for the app. But we are not going to do that. We are going to play around with the interactions here. So what we will basically do is that I want to sort of say that when somebody clicks on, let's delete this. So once somebody clicks on this, it is going to play an animation here. So I'm going to click on this action, this particular component, which is the vector. This is a tick mark sort of thing. We are going to go in and add a prototype and add an interaction. So the first thing that we need to do is to add a trigger. So when you click on add a trigger, you can see a big list of triggers, which is a huge up. When you are considering Figma, there are very limited triggers, but you can actually see a lot of triggers in here. This is one advantage that I found very, very interesting. We have something like even a long press, which was not there in Figma. So let's try the long press. So I'm going to click on the long press, and that is our trigger. And you can also see that there is a timeline which just populated right here, right? So there is a timeline which is here. And now what we have to decide is that when somebody is long pressing on this icon, what is going to happen? So the action can be created here. So if you click on this plus sign, you will see again a lot of actions that you have, right? So What I want to say is, or what I want to do is, I want this text to that particular tick mark to sort of rotate. So I'm going to just say rotate here. So the timeline, if you are familiar with a motion graphic tool or an editor, you will know what is a timeline. So this rotate animation is going to happen for 0.2 seconds, and you can see the clip duration is 0.2 seconds here. So it is rotating right now. We haven't given a value here. So the first thing that we have to do is, and it is going to rotate in this direction. The animation is ease in out cubic, and the duration is for this. There is no start delay, and it can basically repeat the animation, but we are not going to do that. We have this right now. And now let's preview it. So we're going to click on the preview button on top here. And if you click on it, it's going to rotate 90 degrees like this. Not clicking on it, we were long pressing on it, and it's rotating like that, which is actually good. Now, the problem here, what is happening here is that when you're clicking on rotate, the object is sort of rotating not in the actual axis of it. So we might have to change the axis here. So when you click on it, you can basically see the anchor point. We have to have it in the center. So you can actually click on these buttons to choose where do you want the anchor point to be. So you can select this center in here so that the icon is going to move from the center of the action. So we can change the rotation back again to 0. So we have this. Let's move this icon to here. So we change the anchor point in here. Let's go back to rotate and see how this actually works right now. So when you click on it, it is going to rotate exactly on that axis. So that's fine, but we have to sort of change a couple of things. So we are going to go to rotate. We don't want to rotate 90 degrees. We'll actually change it to 30 here. So it is only going to rotate 30 degrees. So it is going to have a very mild rotation here. What we are going to do here is we are going to add one more animation in here, right? We want this rotation to be looking like it's shaking. So we're going to create one more action here. I'm going to choose the rotate option. And we are going to say that it needs to rotate in the other direction here. This is going to rotate in the other direction, and we'll put 30 here. So this is going to rotate in the other direction in here. Now, one thing that you have to be very careful is that the timeline is now overlapping. So this should happen after 0.2. So all you have to do is click on this clip, drag it after the first animation is done. So now let's go back and preview this again. So we're going to click on preview. It actually did a small animation thing. I hope this will give you a head start to get started with Protopie and explore it. For exploring it, it's going to be really, really cool. You can play with it a lot, and you can do a lot of micro interactions which are not possible in Figma directly. So check it out. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you.